So, since moving to Australia in 2010, you work across various states and sectors. What significant changes have you noticed in the built environment industries over the years?
Well, it's an interesting question. The when I first arrived in Australia, I arrived in 2010. I was working in Sydney, spent a year in Sydney with an old employer. Then they asked me to come to Melbourne to sort of develop the Melbourne business. After a couple of years in Melbourne, I went to Perth. And in those times, so in Sydney, I was, overseeing more in facilities management and property. Melbourne was more different. I was overseeing a team in, civil construction, commercial building, client side property development and sort of developing business in there. And then in Perth, it was more about health and safety roles and mining, whilst the team sort of moved from recruiting in mining types of roles when the mining boom was going on and moving into construction.
Mm.
So different states and different sectors, and to today, the more it's changed, the more it kind of stays the same, to be honest, when it comes to particularly in recruitment. Obviously, the construction industry, the property industry, there's been more social media, more marketing, more online marketing, more personal branding. Construction companies now becoming more aware of their online footprint and posting more about their projects and their perception of their own cultures and trying to market their businesses. So that's all changed.
Mm.
But there's obviously a lot of topics in the industry at the moment about some of the headaches that the built environment is facing. And a lot of those, I still think, at the base level, the lack of productivity, the lack of change. So whilst everything has changed, like the facade of everything has changed within the industry, and the IT systems and the software systems or procurement systems, all the different IT-related, AI-related items. But so the more it's changed, and from different state to different state, the more it's actually the same as it was before. But either side of the core expectations, the core roles, the core norms, if you like, within the construction and property industry, they're all pretty much the same. But there's these sort of IT perhaps or online based elements that have sort of changed it. But yeah, so the more that's changed from a helicopter view, when you actually get down close to it, it's actually done relatively similar. And that's true of recruitment as well, that the more it's kind of changed and the more advances there are with online, how to attract people and LinkedIn and things like that, it's still the same. It's still about relationships, talking to people, understanding, sharing information, building trust, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, so the more it's changed, the more it seems to me to be the same. But maybe I'm at that age now where I don't see the change quite as much as I used to.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to the basic personal relationship, isn't it? Whether,
Yeah.
Whether there's different ways of doing it through IT or through software or platform and everything. But when it comes down to, you still have to talk to someone and question them and get to know them at a personal
Correct. Yeah.